My name's Tammy Severino. As she said, I am Director of Development and Marketing at Fuerza CDC, which is a local CDFI, which is a community development financial institution, and we provide access to capital for small business owners on Long Island, as well as technical assistance provided in one-on-one services, group webinars and seminars, and an array of educational services that help you to either start or grow your business. And during the past year with COVID, businesses have needed a little extra attention, and we are here to help you have all the added information and education that you need so that your business can continue to survive and thrive. And tonight I'm going to share my screen and bring up our program. Let me just move this over, and here we go. Okay, if you want to, you can put questions into the chat box at the bottom. You can hang on till the end, whichever works best for you. I'm pretty flexible. However you want to throw questions at me, feel free. But tonight is an easy guide to social media and marketing for your small business. And I think it is always a good idea to start with a definition, because when we're dealing with marketing, sometimes folks are confused between the difference in marketing and advertising or public relations. And so here is a very simple definition of marketing. It's the activity and the process for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging goods or services that have value for your customers, for your partners, and for your clients, and for the community at large. So with that, we will move on to whether or not you are marketing. So marketing, different parts of marketing include advertising, social media, websites, so how you are talking about what your business is on your website, networking, and contributing information or resources out into the community. It has been identified that throughout the United States, most small businesses are not doing the research or analysis or planning for marketing efforts. Some businesses are doing no marketing at all, and some businesses are kind of doing a shoot from the hip type of approach. So this is designed to give you a little bit of a more strategic way to do some marketing. Due to the pandemic, many small businesses found themselves completely unable to reach their customer base. From the point that New York State closed down on March 18th, we had our stay-at-home orders. At the time that I wrote this, there are still some businesses that are unable to open. Today we got news that as of May 19th, all of the businesses in New York State should be able to reopen and without restrictions. But between March 18th of last year and May 19th of this year, the major revenue losses due to downtime, extended downtime that businesses experienced has been significant. Small business owners have, in surveys that were done and in outreach to organizations like La Fuerza, there was tremendous concern about whether or not businesses were going to be able to reopen, and even once they did reopen, be able to get those businesses, those customers rather, back into their location, whether a restaurant or a salon or any kind of small business, getting folks back through their doors was of great concern. So whether your business has a product or a service that you put out to the marketplace, you, like other business owners, are looking for ways to communicate with customers that are quick, easy, and either free or inexpensive. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we're going to talk about marketing basics on a budget. And there are three components that I'd like to cover with you. The first is social media. The second is your website. And the third I like to phrase as contributing to the conversation. So let's start with social media and why social media. It's important to note that 65% of online adults, and most adults are online in some fashion, 65% of them are using some social media platform. There are an array of platforms that are out there. 65% of folks say they're using at least one. 79% of online adults are using Facebook. 68% are using at least one social media platform. And just so that you know, this all came out of a company called Pew Research. This was research done in 2020. They do believe that since this was early 2020 research, that these numbers have now gone up because people have been home. Since the stay-at-home orders began in March, people had to find ways to fill their day. So more screen time was an absolute that was identified, and people were looking for ways to stay connected to their friends, to family, to coworkers, to other people in the community. So many of them turned to social media. So that is why social media is so critical. If that's where your customers are and that's where your potential customers are, then that's where you need to be. So in terms of social media, you have to determine who you're trying to reach, because there are a lot of platforms. And if you're kind of putting your foot in the water, you don't want to jump into absolutely every platform out of the starting gate. It's best to start with a small sampling, and then you can grow from there, especially if you are new to social media. Then you want to get really familiar with it, and then you can grow. So the first thing to do is determine who you're trying to reach. So younger audiences tend to gravitate toward Instagram, and you'll see over to the right, that is the icon, the image that you'll see for the Instagram application, their app. If you're targeting professionals or businesses, LinkedIn is absolutely the #1 choice for you. If you are targeting the community at large, the general population, Facebook is your top choice. Twitter would be a close second. There are many other platforms, Snapchat, Pinterest. This year, TikTok has grown in leaps and bounds. Those can wait a little bit. These are going to give you the largest possible audience for the demographic that you're looking at. So the way to get things started is to set up a profile for each of the platforms that you are going to have a presence on. It's really, really important to fill out all of the fields when you are filling out your profile, because people will look in your bio, they will look at the background, and you're not going to have a robust profile if you skip certain segments. Think of it as if you have a retail business, you have your counter area, you always want that to be warm and inviting, because that's your first impression. If you have an office, having a receptionist or a reception area that is warm and inviting, that's the first impression. Somebody coming to your page, if they see a post and now they're going to go to your profile on your social media, that is your social media first impression. You want it to be a good one. If you put up a profile that is without a photo or a logo, you will be passed by. 85% of people say that if they go onto LinkedIn and they are looking at a professional and there is no profile photo, they skip that person. Almost an identical statistic. It's about 83% of folks who see a business without a logo, they will skip that profile. So it is really quite important that you have your photo or your logo on your profile, and create a distinct web address. So for example, if you were, I always use a pet shop as my sample. So if you have ABC Pet Shop, your Facebook address is going to be facebook.com/ABC Pet Shop. This way people have a way to get directly to your page. You want to post regularly. You want to be seen by more people. You need to come up in their feed. And if you are inconsistent, people may miss you. People have a tendency to go on social media roughly the same time of day, roughly the same days. So you want to use scheduling tools, which I will give you some ideas of tools later on in the talk, and schedule what time you're posts are going to appear so that it's fairly consistent and people start to see you regularly. It's like regular advertising. You want regular posting and post content that is valuable. People don't want their time wasted, even if they are doing something that they may consider their brain candy. So social media posts and shares should be things that are interesting or inspirational or helpful to customers or your potential customers. So if there's a really interesting piece of information related to pet owners for ABC Pet Shop, like a recall on a pet food product, you would want to share that because people who have pets or who are thinking about a pet, that's going to be important information for them. So you want your information to be valuable. Try to use images and videos, much the same way if you're reading the newspaper. A photo with a caption is going to grab attention. Using images and videos in your social media will also give you a greater screen grab of people as they are scrolling through, and it helps you to get your message across. Up in your bio, there is an opportunity for you to put your website there. You want to drive people to your website because that's where they can buy, it's where they can learn, it's where you can engage with them further. So you want to make sure that your bio has your website in it, or a link to a specific page on your website. So you don't have to just drive them to your homepage. If, let's say, you're announcing that you have a new blog post up, if you're engaging through a blog, then you would drive them directly to that page. Or if you were showing a really fantastic outfit and that outfit is for sale at your retail boutique, you would drive them directly to the page where they can buy it on your website. You want to use promotions and contests to gain more followers and more likes, because the more followers you have, the more people who are going to see your posts without you paying for it. So promotions and contests operate. An example, I have a jewelry company that I follow. They do costume jewelry that I happen to like very much. And she'll offer perhaps like a pair of earrings that are going to be given away. And the way to enter the contest is to like their page. So you have to go into their profile and follow their page, like this post, and tag 3 people in the comments. So within the comments, I will put at and 3 people's handles that I am friends with and connected to on that platform. And that will give me an entry into the contest. And that gives them the opportunity to promote the contest. It gives them the opportunity to gain more followers on their page, and it gives you an additional reason to post when you are announcing the congratulations to who the winner is. So you have a reason for your post. You also want to use hashtags wisely, because people will search via the hashtag. For those of you, if you're a little bit of a social media newbie, then hashtags are the pound sign. If you were looking at your phone, it's the pound sign, and it is another way to search. So if you were ABC Pet Shop, you might, if let's say ABC Pet Shop has a rescue section for pets, so you can come in and adopt a kitten. So you might have rescue pets as a hashtag. Pet shop. You might have, if it's a pet shop in Port Washington, you might have PW Pet Shop. You might have something about pet food or pet supplies, all within those hashtags that usually go at the bottom of your post. And now, if I'm someone looking for a pet shop, I can actually search by those hashtags, and it will show me all the different posts related to that. And I may follow someone who is doing something that is interesting. Now, if let's say, well, everybody's favorite celebrity from Long Island, Billy Joel, everybody wants their nonprofit to have Billy Joel get involved with them. If Billy Joel came into ABC Pet Shop and there's a photo taken with him, you would tag Billy Joel, because now anyone who's searching Billy Joel is going to see that latest post with him, and that grabs you new followers. If there is a story about a kitten that was rescued in the neighborhood and you have a photo of that about how wonderful that was and thank you to the fire department, you'd hashtag the fire department, or you would tag them so that it draws all the same folks that are that they're coming up in the feed. Now you're coming up in those followers feeds as well. Another social media must is customer service. So if people are asking a question, giving you a compliment, or complaining, respond to them. It will show your dedication towards customer service. So if they have a question, answer them, even if it is, I will PM you, which means private message you. If it's a complaint, that's oftentimes something you want to take offline into a private message. And for compliments, even if it's something as simple as, thanks so much, we appreciate you following us, we appreciate your support, stop in and let us know, let us know you're a follower when you come into the store. So some other content suggestions. We talked about special promotions or sales. So maybe there's a big sale going on in the store. Promote it on your social media. It's instead of paying for an ad in a local paper, this is a way that you can get it out and about to your followers. Related to COVID, if you reopened and have new policies different than what you may have had, maximum number of folks in the store, the fact that you are wiping things down every day, or you're doing temperature taking, if you've installed sanitizers so that people can wash on their way in, on their way out, all those types of things you want to put in there. It lets people know that you're thinking of their safety, and that means that you care about them, and that's important to your customers to know that they're cared about. You can also have, if you have new policies related to refunds or cancellations because of COVID, put that in. Say thank you. It's always so important to say thank you to your customers and let them know you appreciate their business and that you're doing everything possible for them to be able to come back and visit you, and you can't wait to see them. If you changed your operating hours or how you're doing business, a lot of businesses have added curbside pickup, delivery, all kinds of things like that. Let them know what you're doing so that they can avail themselves of what you're offering. And now sometimes I like to say ask for suggestions, but be careful with that one, because some folks do get offended if they've offered a suggestion and you don't implement it. So if you do that, always put in sort of the fine print of, we take every suggestion seriously and we'll look to see if we can implement it, so that they're not just expecting that that's going to be put into place because they made a suggestion. So that's social media. And now we're going to move on for a little bit to websites, which, if you want to think of your website as your digital home, it is where your business lives online. Businesses have been doing, Americans rather, have been doing more business online year over year for the past decade. COVID actually sent that, if you look at it as an arrow of things going up, a nice even trend, it actually sent it up very dramatically this year because people were home and they bought more online, partially out of convenience, partially out of being home and bored. People shopped more online than ever before. So if you don't have a website, you are losing out to your competition that does. So right now, upwards of 50% of businesses, small businesses, do not have a website. This year has seen the fastest number of and largest number of increase in small business websites coming online than any year over the last decade, because businesses have identified the need to be found so that they can sell their goods and services to their customer base. Your website, think of the things that your website does for you. It tells your customers, but also potential customers, who you are, what you offer, goods, services, which ones, how many of them, your hours of operation, where your business is located, what kind of experience you have, why you are the expert and they should come to you. It talks about special services that you offer, custom options, delivery, all kinds of specialties that maybe your business offers that others in the region don't. It lets them buy online if you're offering online purchasing. It lets them know where to find you on social media and much, much more. So a few things, some websites are very, very busy looking. If your eye does not know where to go first, your website is not clean. You want it to be visually clean. It should be easy for someone to read through without being overwhelmed. It should be easy for the eye to scan without being overwhelmed. So your website does not need to have absolutely everything in it, but it does need the components that are relative to your business. Um, Use photos, and if you have or you can get some later on, add videos, because it will increase your search engine optimization organically. Let me talk for a moment about what that is. Google, as we all know, is the largest and most expansive search engine on the internet. And they use special formulas, special algorithms for how they determine the findability of any given person, thing, business, whatever someone is searching for online, how to take care of my cat versus the name of someone who may be the owner of a particular business. It's actually extracting all the information that's in your website, but it has ways of doing that. Photos help make you more findable. Videos make you even more findable. When you search something on Google, there are some paid ads at the very top, and it'll say right there, ad, and the name of the company. Just below that, you start seeing all the unpaid ads. That's organic search, your findability without paying for it. And natural organic SEO, search engine optimization, is the goal to be at the top. Most people will not scroll past the first page and definitely not past the second page. So you want to get your name up there. Part of it is where you're geographically located. So if I search pet shops near me, then ABC Pet Shop, that's 3 miles from my house, may come up. But if I'm 20 miles over, ABC Pet Shop may come up a little further down because I'm not so close to it physically in terms of where, not necessarily where I live, but where the item that I'm searching from is. If I'm on my phone and I'm on the railroad, it's going to pick me up geographically wherever I'm sitting. If I'm searching from my laptop in my house, then it's going to search geographically from my home. So when you talk about a geo search, that has to do with where that device is at any given time. So keep that in mind. Make sure on your website, getting back to that, that you have information on how to contact the business. I am frustrated when I go onto a business's website and I cannot find the contact information. So whether it's something that an info at, I see now some businesses wanting to be very friendly are doing hello at, and I happen to think that's really wonderful because it's just a warmer greeting for the person who is coming to your site. And if you came into my shop, I would say hello. So I think that's a nice way to have that email address set up. If there's a phone number, put it in. If there's a street address, put it in. If you want to put the name of the person that they would reach out to, even the first name, it's just a warm, engaging way to bring people closer to your business. And also update your website periodically. That could be just changing out some photos. It could be things you've done in the community. But if people come back and your website is what they call static, it has not changed at all, then people get bored. If your website is dynamic, there are some changes, there's updates, there's new things for them to find or shop for, that's going to engage people and they're going to come back over and over again. That's why a lot of folks like to put their blog on attached to their website, because it's a new piece for someone to read with each new blog post. And that it also gives them the time. They go, oh, well, I'm already here. I wanted to check something. And they might go to another page or two on your website. So now we move on to contribute to the conversation. If you like to write and you have the time to do so, consider a blog, because it is content that connects to your website, and it's a reason to post on your social media. So you announce the blog post on your social media, and there's a link that will drive them right to the page on your website where that blog post is listed. And then after they read, so your blog post is going to be at the top, and below that is going to be the last post, and then the one before, and the one before that. So someone may choose to read more than one if it's the first time they're coming there. And that way there's more content to continue to engage them and impress them and show them why your business is the business they want to tap into. However, if writing regularly is too much, you may also consider writing periodically, whether it's for a local paper or for an industry or business specific periodical or website. And then you can attach a link to that story. If the local paper wants to interview you, say yes. I marvel when business owners tell me that they turned down an opportunity to be quoted in Newsday or Long Island Business News or one of the local papers, whether it's Anton Publications or a local Port Washington paper. That is an opportunity for you to show off your expertise. They want to know what the local dry cleaning industry or pet industry or accounting industry is dealing with, what restaurants are dealing with. Have your voice heard, because they're going to remember your name. So the media outlet is also going to send you a link afterwards to that story, and then you can promote that story on your website and on your social media. And also, it's a really great idea to be one of the good guys. And that means getting involved with local charities. So, I mean, the last year, charities were really not doing very much by way of their events. They took a bad hit with COVID, but things are starting to wake up again. And the planning stages for events are in the works. So I think come fall, especially late fall, you'll start to see some events kicking off again. Get involved with those community events, programs, charities. So like I said, much of which has been done virtually right now, but they will come back in person, and you will get so much more out of it than you put into it. You'll get to feel good about what you're doing, but you'll also get, from a tangible perspective, you're going to get photos, you're going to get articles, things that are going to promote you, promote your business, and you can use those out into the community, because it is statistically proven that people, if they have two businesses to choose from, and one is involved in the community and one is not, people will gravitate toward the one they feel is doing good works. Why not be that business? Why not be that business owner? So I personally think it's a way to feel good, do good, and definitely benefit your business. So tips for all of your efforts. Be consistent. This is the top tip I can offer you. It helps you to develop your brand. As the business owner, you are part of the brand. Your business has a brand. You want to be consistent with it. So if, for example, you decide you're trying to come up with content, and we do have a content class. You'll be getting that in a couple of weeks. But if you're posting sort of a Monday morning, welcome to the week, or Friday afternoon, have a great weekend kind of a post, do it every week. Don't just post Monday morning for 3 or 4 weeks and then stop. You want to be consistent with that. Make sure that everything has a consistent visual look. It helps to build your brand. So your website, your social media channels, flyers, brochures, everything that you do, including print advertising locally or regionally, you want to make sure that you have a consistent visual look. People are very visual, and they will come to identify your materials in that way. And I like to use as examples Under Armour, Starbucks, Disney. If you think about it, Starbucks, for those of you who have been drinking coffee from there as long as I have, their logo of the mermaid used to say Starbucks around it. Has to be about 10 years ago now that they actually pulled the word Starbucks away from the logo because no one needed to see it anymore. Everybody saw the mermaid, they know her in green, and they know that that is Starbucks. That's brand recognition. We all know the Disney logo. We all know the Nike check. We don't need to see the name associated with the visual anymore. A lot of branding strategy went into creating enough promotion of that visual that none of us need to see that anymore. If you remember Toys R Us, I had my daughter with me. We were going to the city and we were going through on the railroad. When you get up to where Toys R Us in Jamaica is, there's a Toys R Us that used to be located across the street from when you're up crossing through on the train. My daughter was 2. She was learning to read, but she couldn't read full words yet. She could identify letters though. And she looked and she pointed and she said, "Look, mommy, there's Toys R Us. There's my toy store." And that is teaching a visual brand is being promoted to someone who wasn't old enough yet to fully read. That's the power of branding and marketing. So so being consistent on your visual is probably the most important thing I can share with you about all of your efforts. So use the same picture or logo on all of your social media, on your website, on your advertising, everything that you do. So if you have a logo, that you want to make sure that you're doing that. I had one organization that I worked with that showed me about 10 different pieces that they had done over about a 2-year window. Everything was in different colors. I said, "Well, what color are your logo? Is your logo?" And they showed it to me. I said, "Well, why are 8 of these pieces in completely different colors?" "Well, we thought it fit the campaign." I said, "But you're taking away from your audience's ability to remember who you are." So that's where you want to be consistent. And also make sure that the photo or logo that you're using is really, really sharp and clear, because when it goes up onto a website, it will blur if it's not really crisp. So you want something that's considered high resolution, and that will keep it from being blurry. If you're using a DIY website builder and creating your own, it'll give you the opportunity to preview your website, check your logo, make sure that the photo is really crisp, the artwork is crisp on your logo or the photo that you're using. If it's not, replace it, because it's better to have something that is really sharp, not a blurry image on your website at all. There are a number of different, before we get over to Q&A, a number of different DIY tools that you can use. For websites, there's GoDaddy, there's Square, there are a large number of sites that you can go onto and build your own website with a shopping cart or without a shopping cart. Some people create, if you offer a service, some people create a website that's basically an online brochure. They're very simple. You can build it on your own, and the cost for building it includes the whole year of hosting that website. So that can be very, very beneficial to you. Usually it includes one email address. So that would either be yours or that info or hello at, and then you can pay an upcharge for a secondary one. And if you are buying a website domain name, so we were using ABC Pet Shop, buy abcpetshop.com and then buy.net and even .org, because the worst thing is if somebody else creates something and pulls a different route, now you're competing with your own name. So the second and third purchase are usually maybe $10 or $15 more, and it saves you a lot of aggravation of having somebody else who pulled the same domain name and just put a different route on the end. Additionally, some of those scheduling tools, there's Hootsuite, There are a number of different services like that. Many of them, what they will do is allow you to have a free account for 1 or 2 platforms. And then if you decide you're going to be on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, what you can do then is have a paid account, and it'll allow you to go in and schedule which posts are going to go up on which day, at what time, and it will give you analytics. So, and that's another class that we're doing, but it will show you the analyses of how your different posts are doing. So you'll be able to, you'll be able to see where you need to bend and flex to get the most bang out of your posts. So that's it for this evening in terms of what I have to put out to you, but I am here for questions and answers. And it is about 20 of right now, so I'm happy to take questions for as long as you have them. I'm going to stop the share in a moment, but I do want to give you, that is my email address there at La Fuerza. It's Tammy at lafuerzacdc.org. If either you think of something after the class is over and you want to ask a question, you can feel free to email me. I try and get back to everyone within 24 hours. If it's something that is so specific that I don't have the answer to, I have colleagues in the field on Long Island who I can turn to, and I will get you that answer so that you're able to tap into this information and do the best for your business. So I'm going to stop the share and come back onto the screen here. Okay, and I have one in here. So can you put hashtags on LinkedIn or only on Instagram? Instagram makes the most use out of hashtags. However, that being said, LinkedIn has now added where you can add a hashtag. They will give you about a half dozen suggestions based on your post and on your posting history. So I do a lot of posting on things related to marketing and on things related to nonprofit organizations. So it always suggests things to me like philanthropy, marketing, public relations, but you can put them in and it will give you all of the most common hashtags, excuse me, with that start with that root, and you can click on the ones that are most beneficial to you. Sometimes seeing, if you go into Instagram, they do it the best, because what they do is if you type something in, it'll show you some variations of that particular hashtag, and you'll see one has 100,000 and one has 5,000. Well, the 5,000 might have been closer to what you wanted to say, but the 100,000 is going to get you a lot more visual impressions. So you're going to choose the one that's going to give you the most traction. So that's going to be there. Facebook does not do much with hashtags. Facebook, what it does offer, some of the platforms allow you, when I post on Instagram, I can have it travel and post my same post on Facebook. So all my hashtags are going to show up there, but it's not as usable through Facebook because people aren't searching as much for hashtags in that. Yes, Gary, hashtags did originate in terms of their usability through Twitter. However, in terms of user friendliness, Instagram, in my personal opinion, captures it better because you can pick and choose in a way that is a little bit more effective, particularly for a business. If you are trying to grab as much reach as possible, it is helpful to know which one has thousands and which one has hundreds in terms of the searchability of a particular hashtag.